A new cryptocurrency is blowing up. It went 80% in gains overnight. So let's check out what it is, why this happened, and what might be next for the coin to see if you should get into it. I'm Brett at CryptoGX, and today we're talking about a new coin that is not new in the sense of, it was launched today, but it was new in the last couple years, and some interesting things are happening with it. So let's take a look at the top cryptocurrencies today. This is a site that I check all the time, very often, just to see what's going on in the crypto market, as well as some other news sites. But I checked the top cryptocurrencies today to see, okay, what's a new coin that's just like this one that is going up drastically, and why is this happening? So I have another site as well. So this is CoinGecko.com. I also check CoinMarketCap.com because they check their trending coins in a very different way. So obviously you can see here, XRP is the number one on the 24-hour timeline on the CoinMarketCap.com website. And then if we go back over to CoinGecko, we've got Caldera. So Caldera is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, Caldera, as you can see, 81.8% increase over the past 24 hours. That's huge. There was a gigantic spike right around 8:30 this morning on the 17th. Not sure when you'll be watching this, but keep an eye on the price chart over the coming days here. Let's take a look into Caldera, what exactly happened first. So if we click on this news section right here, we've got a few different articles. Let's open one of these up. You can see that Upbit is following Binance and listing Caldera ERA soars 60%. So I took a look at this article. Essentially what they're saying is Binance listed this coin. Upbit is another exchange that is listing this coin. Coinbase has listed this. If we go over to this next one, Coinbase boosts the altcoin market with exciting new listings. So Coinbase also lists Caldera on their platform. And then we can see this last article. Binance launches airdrop campaign for Caldera on the Ethereum blockchain. And as many of you may know, or don't, if you don't know now, this is a really important thing within crypto when it comes to coins and their prices. If a coin is going to get launched on big platforms like Coinbase, Binance, Upbit, whenever that happens, it allows more investors and more people in crypto to have access to these coins. A lot of people are not trading on decentralized exchanges where they, let's say they buy off of Coinbase or crypto.com or whatever, and then they move their crypto to an actual wallet rather than letting the centralized exchange be the custodian of their coins. They'll pull it onto a decentralized exchange, and then you can trade all sorts of coins that are not available on these centralized exchanges. The amount of people on those platforms are much, much smaller than the people on things like Coinbase and crypto.com. So when there is a listing on Coinbase or Binance or any of these big platforms, a lot of money floods into these coins from all sorts of excitement, but mainly centered around, ooh, this is a new shiny toy to play with. So investors jump in, and they also understand that because of that mindset, they're like, okay, well, everybody else is going to jump in, so I might as well too. And then they catch these gains just like that. So you have to keep an eye on Coinbase's site, their Twitter, and other things like that to understand when these announcements are going to be made and when these listings are going to go out. And it's obviously very, very tough to catch immediately when that happens, but this happened this morning. So there's still time. There's still time. Don't worry. We'll get into that in a second. So now that we understand what happened with Caldera, why it's going up 80%, next we'll talk about what it is and the kind of fundamentals of this project. And then I'll talk to you about kind of what I think is going to happen next. So let's go to the Caldera CoinGecko page, and we'll look at some more information about this coin. If we scroll down to this side right here, you've got things like the contract address. You can see it's on Ethereum. You can see the website, their white paper, Etherscan, Twitter, and other coins will show different things based on what the information they have available. But let's first take a look at their website, just from a basic understanding of how good does this look. So here's their website right here, Internet of Chains. It has a nice, beautiful animation right here. Continuing down, let's take off my dark reader here so it looks how it's supposed to. There we go. The first thing I ever look at is, does the site look professional? Absolutely. This looks very, very high quality. They got a bunch of different sections on what the coin is. They got little things about gaming, AI, DeFi, obviously big trending words right now. Look, a news section. So that's the first step. Obviously, we're going to have to dive into what all of this means and what the coin's about. But that's a great first step. If you'd like to read through the website and take a lot more time to research it, that's great. But they have a docs section right here. And that's often the most important thing when it comes to a coin, to understand what's going on. And even back on the CoinGecko site, they have a link to their white paper right here, which is this. And so they've got an abstract, they've got an about, and lots more information. And again, you can read through this. This one's only 9 pages, so that's not that long to read through. But I'm human. I like to simplify things. So I typically have a particular way to put it into ChatGPT to have it simplified simplify it more concisely for me. So let's run through that really quickly here. So generally what Caldera is trying to do is it's trying to improve Ethereum. We all know Ethereum, obviously, but instead of making just one faster blockchain, Caldera lets people build their own smaller ones called rollups. And rollups are like mini cities that can work with Ethereum but run separately. So essentially it's trying to have multiple chains within Ethereum or running on Ethereum. And as you can see right here, the most powerful multi-chain ecosystem. And they're trying to bridge lots of chains together essentially and open up usability within the Ethereum blockchain for all of these other compatible chains. Now, if you're familiar with layer 2 projects in general, they're a way to use the Ethereum chain without having to be on the mainnet, because as many of us know, the Ethereum mainnet is very slow and it's very expensive when it comes to transactions. So putting things on a layer 2 makes things very fast in comparison. And so I guess what they're trying to do is to connect different rollups of chains. So as you can see right here, their problem is that rollups don't share money, users, or tools well. And it's like having different phone companies that can't call each other. If you had Verizon and AT&T and they couldn't call between each other. So they have a solution called the meta layer, which connects all of them and allows you to talk between your, in this example, Verizon and AT&T. So it's got a good mission to simplify. They're trying to increase connectedness on Ethereum layer 2 chain. But let's talk about the token that they have. It's not anything new. As you can see here, it's used to pay for actions on the meta layer. So it's the transacting coin on that system. They have a bunch of nodes staking that particular coin. You get rewarded for staking your coin. Apparently you can get voting rights, which is good if you hold the coin to, vote on upgrading the system, vote how money is spent, vote who joins the foundation or security council. So it's got a little bit of real ownership within the project rather than just, owning the coin. You can vote on what happens, which is really nice. The coin is used as gas, also nothing new. That's good. The distribution is really important with a coin. So let's look into that really quick. At the moment, they've got 7% allocated to airdrops. The foundation has 36%, which is managed by the project. They can do whatever they want with this. This is not anything that's uncommon in projects. 36%, in my opinion, isn't crazy big, but it's not crazy small either. So, hard to say and judge on that. R&D, they save 10% for building, developers and researchers. Team gets 15% for the original creators. I don't know, 15% is not that much. In my opinion, a lot of that shouldn't necessarily go to the team at all if you really want to build a project. But hey, 15% is not crazy. 32% goes to investors, people that help fund the project early on. Also kind of a normal thing. It just depends, it doesn't sound like any of this is locked up. They can just sell it off at any point they want, which means if the team and investors, they're at 47% of the entire allocation, decide to sell all of their coins, the price is going to drop real fast. So that's something to think about. A little bit of the background on the coin. They were founded in 2022 by a team based in the Cayman Islands. Also a little odd. I mean, maybe not odd is the right word. It's a little concerning, but definitely not uncommon. And here's a good thing. They raised $25 million pre-token launch, which included a $15 million Series A round led by Founders Fund with participation from Sequoia, Dragonfly, 1KX, Alliance, and others. Basically, they had really good traditional venture capital backing before the initial token launch. They didn't just launch the token out of nowhere. It's not this complete unknown. There is some backing that had some sort of vetting process when it came to investing the $25 million. So this is a real deal. That's why their website looks so dang good. Now they've got airdrops, talk about the team operating from the Cayman Islands, transitioning government towards community control. Not a whole lot on the team, but they did have a Series A funding round. So that gives a little bit of confidence at least. Now let's go back to the price. We've seen a 24-hour jump of 80%, but where are we going to go from here? This is what you really want to know. Should I jump into this coin? Well, that's a very good question. So this is a kind of tried and true thing that happens within the crypto world. If something gets listed onto Binance or on Coinbase or any other big exchange, it is going to pump very, very fast. And that's what we see obviously with Caldera. If we can zoom in here, often the prices move up very fast within the first 24 hours, which we've already seen. It's under 24 hours right now, but it usually moves about 80 to 90% in the first 24 hours. And we've already seen that at the moment. And then we've seen that the peak typically is about 1 to 2 days after the listing. So this is something that if you want to get into it, you want to get into it very, very quickly. Make sure to look at the time that it was listed, which was January 17th at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And then within 48 hours, that's where you want to at least take a look, see where the interest is, see where the volume's going. going and decide whether or not you want to get in. The volume is kind of tapering, but it is still going up. There was a peak here, but we could see renewed interest within the next 48 hours. So I would say if you're interested, now is the time, get in it, but get out quickly. Do not hold onto this, because typically the same thing that happens with all of these listings, within 5 to 7 days, there is a big retracement back the other direction of about, anywhere from 30 to 80% the other direction. So keep an eye on this, and it is a risky play. Know that. This is a very risky play, but it is in general a coin that has a lot of legs to it over time. If I wanted to play the long game with this coin, I would wait 3, 5, 7 days from now for that pullback, and then I would get in. That's probably what I would want to do. At the moment, I'm probably not going to be getting in because it is a risky play. Only put in as much as you're willing to lose. But if you want to get involved in this, I'll put some links in the description for Coinbase and crypto.com. You can get at least $50 of free crypto just from signing up with those links. I'm not sure this is on crypto.com. I know it's on Coinbase. I know it's on Binance. So keep an eye out. If you learned something in this video, let me know in the comments what you think about this coin. And I'll also include a link to MoonShot. If you're interested in meme coins, you can click the link to that, claim some free meme coins just for signing up. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.